and that's Saint Albert, given the sobriquet Magnus, or the Great. Albert is recognized in 1931 as a doctor, Doctor Universalis, the universal doctor. And Albert is a bit of a polymath. He's an interesting guy among all of these. He has his fingers kind of dipped into a multi-form of subjects, from like astronomy to philosophy and biology and music and theology and sociology and law. He's at this pivotal time where, after the initial, I didn't go into this, but there's an initial series of denunciations of Aristotle. Aristotle comes out of Spain into the West. The church kind of like is like, back up, guys. Here, there's some condemnations of Aristotle. We begin to see a softening of that. It goes from a formal banning of these new works to not exactly a loosening, but the church kind of calls for the best and brightest to work through and extract an extraction of the compatible points of Aristotle, and to eventually and quickly after that, a requirement that one of the things that one needs to as a student to get through as a master of theology was that you would have to work through Aristotle. So it's a quick change. And St. Albert is among those, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? I pick on the trads here a lot, but the trads of the day, the ones that, hold Aristotle up as this paragon of natural virtue, would probably have been screaming on YouTube, were it such a thing at the time, that the Vatican accepted, paganism, if they had the microphone that they had now, and the Vatican turned to, after condemning Aristotle, to turning and requiring him, right? If they had a microphone at the time, there would have been a lot of denunciations on YouTube by certain people, but I digress. Albert himself he's a part of this initial project. He constructs the curriculum for Aristotle for the Dominicans when Aristotle becomes required to become a master, which, as many of you are well aware, it's through Albert in this curriculum that he produces that we get one of his most famous students, Thomas Aquinas. And his methods was to have a great effect on all future Western scientific inquiry, which in its own right honestly deserves to be recovered, reviewed, and I think at nothing else reappreciated. In terms of content, I think he's quite ahead of his time. In terms of method, in terms of how we do science, I think he absolutely needs to be reviewed and reappreciated, if nothing else.